inspired by many women scientists. However, I've recently joined a new research group with many women. And for the first time in my career as a researcher, one of my supervisors is a woman, Professor Joanna Wardlow. She is the chair of Applied Neuroimaging in Edinburgh and the head of Neuroimaging Sciences and Edinburgh Imaging. She is also director of the Center for Research into Aging and the Brain, and she has received many awards for her work in neuroimaging and clinical science. And it is always really inspiring to see a woman holding multiple leadership positions, and especially in the medical imaging field.
Actually, these past years, I had a chance to work with several women who were really involved in their activities. However, if I need to choose one person, I will go with my PhD supervisor, Diana Mateos. I feel she's doing a great job balancing her personal and professional life and managing all these different people and PhD students who surround her.
I can think in anyone, beginning by my supervisor or other woman in my research group. But if I have to choose one, I will go for my friend Ludivine Morvan. She is a PhD student in last year and we share the same office. Even with pandemic, she was all the time looking out for me and my mental health. She told me that as women, we must support each other and that we are not alone in this thesis journey. She is very humble and volunteer as tutor with children in schools, besides being very intelligent, dedicated, and an excellent friend.
Yes, I can name Marina Filipovic, which is a researcher in my field, who I think is very talented.
I would say Professor Yulia Schnabel. I interacted with her in last 2 years as a member and later as a president of student board at MICCAI, and I really love her content.
So it depends on, life, you can get inspiration for different part of your life, professional and personal life. So professionally, I can cite a colleague who works here. So she's a scientist, and I learned a lot from her in terms of how to transfer, for example, learn from someone senior. So I learned that and also how to learn from her and also train others, and the way how you need to work in the industrial environment as a scientist. That's also something that I came here with a mindset as a academic scientist, and she switched that to something industrial, like a mindset when you need to be very, very pragmatic.
Okay.
And there's no time, the time that you have in the academy to develop things. Here the objective is something else. So I learned a lot, and I really like the way she works, and I try to mimic all the time her mindset. So I consider Odile Bonnefous is a very nice inspiration for me.
I would say it's my first internship supervisor. She's named Kong Shu Lee, and she's from South Korea. I met her in Canada, and she was in the middle of her thesis at this point, and she really inspired me because she's a really hard worker. She did a very, very long thesis, and she spent all this time very away from her country, away from her husband, and I thought it was very impressive how hardworking she was. And she was a very, very great supervisor because she was here when I needed her, and she was actually the first person to really teach me how to do research. And it's kind of because of her that I'm still in the field right now. So yeah, she really inspires me because of her way of working and her dedication to work.
I would recommend do not wait to reach the last of your thesis to make contacts or look for a job. There are many congress, symposiums, seminars, workshops, challenges where you can participate or just attend. But if the topic appeals to you, maybe next time you can help with organization. The PhD is more than a solitary work in a corner of a laboratory. It is an insertion into a community of science. You can share with researchers who dedicate their lives to doing science because they believe they can make a contribution to the world.
I would recommend him to enjoy his subject because he will have to work on it during 3 years, and also to enjoy his or their supervisor, because, and also not only for the scientific skills but also as a person.
Suggest creating a thesis planner with goals and deadlines, accounting also for extra time for revisions, adjusting figures and references. You have also to consider the fact that your supervisor needs to read your thesis, and this requires time. So discuss in advance with your supervisor about how to get feedback. Is it going to be chapter by chapter or once you have a final draft of the entire thesis? And don't rush and write your thesis in the last couple of months of your PhD, but start in advance and try to find a balance between writing your thesis and working on side projects, and of course also your personal life.
My first piece of advice would be to really choose your supervisor and choose to work with people you get along well with, because you will work with them for 3 years, and it's really important that it's someone you can actually talk to when you have problems or just get along with very well.
How about one mistake not to make? Probably don't stuck to your PhD topic. There's plenty of things to discover and to explore, so be curious and meet other people, discuss their topics, stay curious, and don't think that the research stops on your PhD subject.
I would recommend to not reinvent the wheel, so do not spend much time in doing something that someone else has already done. And on a similar note, if you are stuck in solving a problem, give yourself a reasonable amount of time to solve it. And after that, if you couldn't actually arrive to a solution, just ask for help. Ask your colleagues, ask your supervisor. Don't be afraid, you don't need to know everything. And most probably someone else has already encountered the same problem before you and can help you out.
I would recommend them not get obsessed about the thesis and try to make friends. The thesis is an adventure with friends who has also do not find answers, or the doctoral students who also suffer to publish, who also want to contribute to science.
My warning would be don't believe you like very good and everything just because you got accepted to this. Don't hesitate to ask questions to everyone around you when you have some, especially for instance to your supervisors, if you don't understand exactly what your goal of your thesis is, because at the beginning it's completely normal to don't get everything. And so my piece of advice would be don't hesitate to ask questions to everyone around you, even PhD, postdoc, professors, just everyone.
Towards the end of my PhD, I realized that I like research. I spoke to many seniors about what would be the good next step, and the overall answer was, you have to try. So I took a step, and so far I'm really happy with the postdoc, and I will continue. This position gave me an opportunity to learn leadership, management, teaching, proposal writing, supervision, and networking. So it was overall a very good deal and a very good step for my future career plans.